each and every one of them believes the former president won the 2020 election. Joining us now is a Republican who does not believe that, outgoing Illinois Congressman and January 6th Select Committee member Adam Kinzinger. Congressman, I appreciate you joining us. First of all, what do you make of Blake Masters changing position on the 2020 election after seemingly after that call with the former president?
It's basically now saying, look, nothing matters. And that's what he's running as. Nothing matters. It's just, I'll tell the audience when I'm at the debate that the election wasn't stolen, assuming that when I'm speaking to the base, they won't have heard that because they won't have watched the debate, or they'll understand what I was doing. But then I'll talk to them and say, yeah, really, the election. This is the deal. Ultimately, he's just running on a personality. He's not running on anything that matters, anything that means anything in his mind. It's just, how do I go out and convince these people? He knows, obviously, the election wasn't stolen, but he thinks people are gullible. He abuses them. And you're seeing that all over the country right now, Anderson.
In the past few weeks, several Republicans who previously tried to distance themselves from that lie that the election was stolen showed up to campaign for election deniers. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin traveled to Arizona for a rally with Kari Lake. Vice President Mike Pence has endorsed Blake Masters. How do you reconcile that?
You can't. It's not reconcilable. You see somebody like Mike Pence that does a good thing on January 6th, but since then, with few exceptions, has said he's been so proud to serve with Donald Trump, is working for people like Blake Masters. It's all about this now shadow campaign for president in 2024 if Donald Trump doesn't run. And, look, Glenn Youngkin, you can look at his campaign and say, here's a number of things he did right in how he spoke to people. He had an opportunity, if he did want to run nationwide, which is the rumor, to go out and be a different candidate. Same with Mike Pence, could have been that. But it's all about, in these last couple of weeks, turning out the base, and you're going to need the base to win a primary. So nothing matters.
There have also been attempts at voter intimidation, like the two armed people in tactical gear watching a ballot drop box of all things in Arizona last week. What does that say? How concerned are you about that, the safety of poll workers, the potential of violence surrounding the election, or just the idea of people trying to people think that they are doing something by being armed, watching people drop off ballot drop boxes, which are, again, surveilled 24/7.
Yeah, think about this, Anderson. So everybody in their life, and I think this is what Donald Trump did well. Everybody wants to fight for a cause. They want to fight for a mission. They want to feel like they're doing something bigger than themselves. And that's a noble characteristic, both in Americans and, frankly, humanity in general. If you convince people that an election was stolen, you'll get them to show up on the Capitol on January 6th. If you convince people that there's ballot harvesting at drop boxes, you can get these folks to show up armed to intimidate people, but also think they're doing something to defend democracy. And that's why I think it's so important to point out, yes, obviously there's voter intimidation, but they are being abused. This is exactly when you look at the rise of authoritarianism and the rise of authoritarians, they take people's good intentions and twist it into something else. And you're seeing that in people that are watching these boxes. Look, yes, you have a right to. In Arizona, you can probably have a right to sit there with an AR-15, but there is no other reason to sit there with an AR-15 very openly, but to show your strength and to intimidate.
Yeah, Congressman Kinzinger, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.